Hello and welcome back to the Normal Tarot Gold and Silver Deck video flip through. I'm Seven Dane Asmund, your lovely Publishing Goblin, and now is the time for us to have a full look at both decks side by side. I just got all the final files for the silver deck. This is a silver mock-up on the cards, just like this one's a gold mock-up. This isn't how they'll necessarily look in real life, because in real life it'll be gold foil and silver foil, but this will be a really good idea of what you're looking at when you get the decks. We are all fully funded and have just about a week left before backer kit is locked. So now is the time to take a look, make sure you get your final stuff, and without further ado, let's flip through the deck. And you will notice that as I go, the order of the cards has changed a little bit since the first time that I did a flip through and since the first deck. The creator, the caretaker, has made a couple changes. So each deck starts with the three omens. We have the Sinner, the Mourning Queen, and the Empty Throne. These are the three omens. Following that, we have the four maidens, the Librarian, the Huntress, the Sorceress, and the Traitor. After the four maidens, we have the five dreams, starting with the Masquerade, the Burning Garden, the Lantern in the Well, the Ghost, and then the Observatory. And if you want a much slower flip through, feel free to slow the video and stop it where you want. Or watch the first video that I did with just the gold deck. I was much slower and chatting about the cards. Next we have the 6 books, beginning with the Book of Flowers, the Book of Songs, the Book of War, the Book of the Lost, the Book of Chaos, and the Book of Secrets. Next, we have the 7 Dead Kings, which begin with the Suicide King, the Drowned King, the Charred King, the Lost King, the Frozen King, the Courteous King, and the Betrayed King. The kings are really fascinating because they all deal with tragedy in different ways, and all the different interpretations of the cards in these decks are of course very different than a traditional tarot deck, and that's probably always important to remember that this is a very abnormal tarot, though it is called officially the normal tarot. Then we have the 8 moons, which begins with the new moon, goes to the waxing crescent, the first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the full moon, the waning gibbous, the last quarter, the waning crescent. And then we get to our first court. These are essentially the replacement for the suits of a typical tarot deck. The courts are each of the seasons. So first we start with the winter solstice, and then as per a more normal tarot deck, we go to the 2nd of winter, the 3rd of winter, the 4th of winter, the 5th of winter, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. You'll notice that on the silver deck, the artist is Amy Smith. She's fantastic. She did the original deck for us. On all of her cards, when she gets into the suits, the seasons, the courts, she does a pip effect, right? There's 9 icicles there for the 9th. For the 10th, there's 10 on these branches. Sam takes a more symbolic approach to the meaning of the cards and skips the idea of pips entirely. I think that they're both really unique decks. They come at it in different ways. And in each court, we also have 3 nights. So we have the Winter Night 1, 2, and 3. Note, of course, that these aren't different nights. It's the same night in different situations. Then we have the 3 ladies, or queens of each court. The Winter Lady, the Winter Queen, it's Queen Mab, and the Winter Mother. It's probably my favorite card in the silver deck. Just so lovely. And then, as you'd expect, we move on to spring, as it goes. The spring equinox into the 2nd of spring, the 3rd of spring, the 4th of spring, the 5th of spring, the 6th of spring, the 7th of spring, the 8th of spring, the 9th of spring, and the 10th. Then, of course, we have the 3 nights again. Spring Night 1, Spring Night 2, Spring Night 3. Now, of course, both artists were working off the same interpretations from the Caretaker, the original creator of the deck, but very specifically when Samantha Dow, Sam, was making the gold deck, she asked me for detailed descriptions of the cards without any art, so that she wouldn't be influenced. And that's a really fascinating part of this, is that even though the cards have a lot in common, because they're working from the same base descriptions, they still end up being quite different in execution. You know, we've got this throne set up, whereas the Spring Lady's like just floating into this like dark abyss with these branches, and it's so interesting, the different takes. We have the Spring Queen, we have the Spring Mother, then we begin summer. Good old summer solstice. The 2nd of summer, the 3rd of summer, the 4th of summer, the 5th of summer. Very similar moods, but such different stylistic takes. The 6th of summer, the 7th of summer, the 8th of summer, the 9th of summer, the 10th of summer. I love this jaw. And we get to the summer nights, who are described as having this hair that obscures them. Summer Night 2, and the Summer Night 3. Now I know you can't see it exactly, but the 3 here is going to be silver foil with this silver border, the silver foil on the sun. I think that what's really interesting is how the gold really pops on this gold mock-up, but it's going to look so different with the gold foil, where the silver is like a sleeper. You have this incredible silver foil detailing that's going to be on the physical cards that are really going to shine when you're holding them. That it's just so difficult to bring onto a 2D graphic image like this. The Summer Lady, Summer Queen, its lovely scythe, and the Summer Mother. Then we begin the final of the quartz, the autumn equinox, 2nd of autumn, the 3rd of autumn, the 4th of autumn, the 5th of autumn, the 6th of autumn, the 7th of autumn, the 8th of autumn, the 9th of autumn, the 10th of autumn, and then the nights. Autumn Night 1, Autumn Night 2, Autumn Night 3. Love this. Same exact concept, just so different. The Autumn Lady, both with this lovely texture on the hair and the beads. Very nice. The Autumn Queen, and the Autumn Mother. Then we have just 2 cards left. These are considered to be the jokers of the deck. They're not throwaway cards by any means, but they have no specific place in the deck. The Masterless Knight is a perfect example of this iconic knight who has no court and who wanders. And of course the Nameless Goddess. If you're familiar with the Caretaker and Normal Horoscopes, where this deck originated, the Nameless Goddess is the patron goddess of madness and oracles. And she apparently has interest in donuts, so an important inclusion on the cards. Both decks come in boxes. If you're getting from the original print run, when they eventually go print on demand, they will use these exact images you see here with the hand-drawn foil, and they will not have boxes from the print-on-demand supplier, unfortunately. But they will come in hard boxes, 2-piece boxes, and they will also be including 2 extra cards in each deck, a Caretaker card and a Okatsu card. These are not cards that are considered to be part of the deck canonically, and they're not really meant to be read, but as you can see, we have 99 card decks already. They're quite a bit larger than your typical tarot deck. And they're just really fantastic interpretations of the same material. You can look for, either in late 2021 or early 2022, probably a 3rd and final interpretation of the deck. But in the meantime, if you're seeing this before the 15th of December 2020, you can go order one of these decks at Backer Kit still. After that point, we will sell them on our Square store, so be sure to check up on that. We'll have links in the description. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely day and stay safe.